Hello YouTube. So I just got my TV head in the mail, but I just missed it out, so I can't show it off yet. Like I just got to the post office 5 minutes before it shut. I forgot my ID. Anyway, because I know it's in, I'm gonna rip this head off, and also the barrel. So I thought I'd do a video of that being done. And I don't have the best lighting in here. Sorry about that, but I might get a little light happening. Dodgy setup. Try and do this in one. I might have to break it up because it takes forever to upload to YouTube. Anyway, to get the head off, first thing you probably will need is a 12 millimeter spanner. I'll probably do it with a socket too, which I might end up doing. But you want to crack, see what it's on now, the head nuts. You want to crack them in crisscross formation. That one's a bit tighter than I expected. Much tighter than I expected. Maybe not use a wrench, use a socket. Which I've got here. Trying to do this with one hand is a bit harder than it seems. I thought it would be. Alright. Wrong way to get. You don't want to back it off too much, you don't want the head warping. You do it to the top left. Well, you can start at the top right, as long as it's in a crisscross. So you don't damage the head. You know, twist it, because you got one point pushing down heaps of pressure and one not. So it can bend it. Alright, so now they're all backed off. Doesn't really have to be the first step, but I mean, you can really kind of do it almost in any which way you'd like. I haven't got them off yet, but they can sit there for a bit. Just move my light for a better situation. But there's one thing I probably should have done first, but I'm going to take off the intake manifold and the exhaust. So they're quite easy. You just do one bolt here, one on the other side, which I'll probably do off video because there's no point because you won't be able to see it. Just be awkward. I'll probably cut this bit out, it's a bit of a shit image. Guess I'll see how it comes up after a bit of editing. Might even be handier to take the exhaust manifold off first, so you can get a bit more of a swing on this. You know what I mean? A bit more of a swing on this nut bolt. I just did the other nut off camera, the other bolt for the intake manifold. Because I had no light over there, so it would have been terrible. Anyway. With the other one, probably want to make sure your fuel's off before you do this, because if you let it hang and your fuel line's taking a bit of a stretch and it pops off your carby, you don't want fuel everywhere. Well, too much of it. Bit of fuel won't hurt anything. Yeah. Alright, so we got that off. Here we go. See? Fuel's going everywhere. Yeah, it doesn't matter, it'll dry. Oh. Yeah. All it was is emptying the fuel out of the float bowl, coming out of the overflow through the tube. It's nothing to worry about, it's only, I don't know, probably comes up to about here. Only about that much fuel, not much. Anyway, we're going to pull this off and away from the head, so it's not in our way. Going to undo this oil line bolt. It should be a 12. Yep, it is. Now this isn't on all pit bike engines, but some of them even have oil lines running to the head, but they're pretty self-explanatory. Just undo them. You should be able to seal them back up with the old washers anyway. Hopefully. If not, they're not expensive or anything, so nothing to worry about. I'll just give you a better look. That's the nut I'm trying to undo. Little bolt. Banjo bolt. Yeah, put that with the others. Got to move them pretty free. I'll just push it out of the way. Probably not the best thing to do. I wouldn't do it every time I pull the engine apart. I'll probably undo the nut at the back too. Like pull it off as one straight line. So you can only bend pipes so much before they end up snapping. So a couple of times is alright. Yeah, so I got them loosened off. They should be right to undo by hand, but at the moment. Just remember to do them in cross formation, because it can be pretty bad. You can lose compression, like never have a good seal on your head gasket. Things like that. All by doing something simple, which is easy to prevent. Alright, now the next step. To demonstrate it, I'll take off this cover to begin with. You could probably detension the cam chain before you take this cover off if you wanted to. These come in handy. But would you believe they didn't come in a size 12 in the kit I got? So I had to use a socket instead of one of these, which is pretty easy. Much easier to use, much quicker than normal spanners. Would highly recommend getting one. No, that was the wrong way. Don't know why I turned it around. Prick. Ouch. Sorry about that one, I had to use two hands, I didn't want to tip around. I don't want to scrape my knuckles. I think I hold the camera the wrong way around, I don't know, I'll just change that. Flip it in my video editor. Over there, you go. Did I call it a valve cover before? I meant a cam sprocket cover. My bad. Throwing stuff on camera is much harder than normal, so check your gasket. Doesn't look too bad, I haven't ripped anything. Just an O-ring seal, so it should last a couple of installments. Anyway, you feel this? It's cam chain tension, so I can't really push it down, which is a good thing. If I did, I'd be worried. But what I want to do is detension that so I can flick it off the cam sprocket, which isn't too hard. All it is this bolt, I think. I don't know, I haven't pulled apart one of these styles of engines before, so I've been working on life ends most of the time when it comes to pit bikes. And they've just got a cam chain tensioner up under here. It's not too hard once you understand it. Yep, nope, I put on tension. Didn't seem to detension it at all. What if I do it up? Nope, still got tension. Alright, I guess I'll just take these bolts off. There's only two of them, won't take long. Especially not with this tool. I want to see what's under here. Oh, it is spring loaded. Alright, maybe I didn't have to take that off. Here we go. Lost a bit of tension. Maybe I'm pushing the wrong thing. It's hard to see. I don't know, well this has to come off anyway because I'm keeping this ball. Yeah, just leave that on for now. This is going to be a bit of a freak, but I've got to get it to top dead center before I can undo them. But pretty much you jolt it. You got to jolt it to get them undone. So I'm just getting compression cycle now, close to it. I'll just go smash it down. I'll do that a couple of times. I'll do this off camera because it's going to be a prick to do with one hand. Right. I worked out how to crack them the easy way. First of all, I put it in first, and you should probably do this with the cam chain tension, sorry, so you don't risk damaging your head. But I don't care about this head because I've got another one to put on it. you know, pull this off. You don't want it to fall down the engine. Pull it out of gear, because it'll be a prick to get back later. Especially if you're only pulling off the head to inspect or something, you know. It's a bit of a prick to get off, which isn't such a bad thing. It means if it gets loose, then it's less likely to damage stuff. Anyway, give me a good and handy little screwdriver. So I pulled this off to get to the other exhaust manifold nut, and undid that, of course, and went to pull on the head and it didn't want to move, so I pulled off these, and no one told me that these were bolts. I've never had to use that before. There's always usually been a bolt on the side with the smaller engines, so I just had to make up a little tool, because I don't have an 8 in my set at the moment. People borrow tools and they go missing, of course. Same with every other tool I've had. Yeah, so I'm about to pull this off. I'll be able to pull the head off, then I'll be able to pull the bore off, be able to inspect and see why I was blowing smoke, and then for me to install the TV head and high compression piston, which is in the mail. Is it finger tight? It's such a prick of a spot to get into. Yeah, I'll get this off and... Alright, here we go, got those bolts out. Oh well, I'm done at least. Let's just hope we don't get caught on the exhaust while I try and pull the head off. And I think we might. I'll bring this light over. Yeah, it's a bit better. Not the best. Fucking exhaust. Just because it's a twin pipe at the rear. One on the left, one on the right. Alright, let me just make this clear. I hate twin exhausts. I just had to take off the back, and it sucked. What can I say? I just don't like them. They're nice and quiet and they sound cool, but I just reckon they're heavy. Okay, there goes all my O-rings. Let's get this head off, eh? Mudguard's in the way. Should fix it. Come on. Oil line's in the way. Everything's in my way. Come on. Alright. Got the head off. There's oils pissing everywhere. Oh yeah, spark plug lead. Just had to clean up a bit, but I got the head off. You can see there's heaps of carbon all over it. This thing was burning oil, so I'm not sure where it came from, whether it came from the valve stems, which I'll inspect later, or if it came from the piston and rings, which I'm about to inspect now. Not that I care about either of them, because I'm going to the... Oh, I care about the bore, that's about it. Save this head gasket, they come in handy. It's always a bit of a prick to get things off these head studs. Head gasket, looks alright. No rips or anything. I'll keep that for later use, if need be. Head, the valve sealings look alright. I'll have to push the valves down and inspect how they are at the back, but I'll do that in another video because I want to get this bore off and inspect it. How does this one come off? Doesn't seem to have much else holding it on. Alright. It's hard to do this one-handed, so that's nice. Big cam slide, or cam chain slider. Does this one come out? I guess not. Alright, I have to use two hands for this, sorry. Okay, so I pulled the bore off. I had to do it with two hands, so I couldn't get really good footage about that. Ruined my base gasket, but I don't care about that either, because I'm getting another one with the kit, I think. If not, I'll just order one in. Now, let's do a little bottom end inspection. Alright, so I just pulled it off. And the first thing I did was... Oh, almost fall over. So let's move the piston backwards and forwards. See if there's any play in there. And I'm talking the play in between the crankshaft down there and the conrod, and also the gudgeon pin up here, but it doesn't matter, it's pretty easy to replace. But also I looked at the side to side movement also, which is a bit hard to display, but it's mainly on the conrod, which is the sideways movement on the conrod is what I'm actually looking for. I don't really care about the sideways movement about the gudgeon pin, that's what it's meant to do. I was also looking at scratches, marks on the piston, things like that, you know, just pretty common to see marks. Easy to see, I should say. The piston doesn't look too bad. Nothing's hit it, no, nothing's broken it, I don't think. There's heaps of carbon on it and oil. It's because of the terrible sealing that this thing had. I'm not sure this is an aftermarket piston actually, I'll find out. Didn't seem to sit well in the bore, but the rings, now might I say, top rings are blunt, bottom rings aren't bad. The oil rings aren't bad either, like they're pretty sharp. Usually when they're screwed they're really blunt, like this top ring is. Middle ring's not too bad, that's probably why I was getting perfect compression. I don't know what to think about this oil ring, I think it might be the wrong oil ring. It doesn't look like it'd have much tension up on the bore if it's only this big. If it's only the size of the piston, it's got to be a little bit bigger, and then kind of when it goes into bore it's got to squeeze down and hold a bit of pressure. Maybe that's why I was getting oil in the combustion chamber. Now let's have a look at this bore. Get back on the chair. Now it's a bit of a hard thing to put on camera, but you have a look up here, there's no scratches. If you see any lines, it's probably just oil running down the bore. Doesn't look too bad, it doesn't have any scratches up the sides, it doesn't have any deep gouges, no overheating signs. It looks, on the top half it doesn't look like it's oval or anything like that, or expanded up the top, because that's where some of the combustion happens. So that's a usable bore. That's pretty good. I don't even need to give it a hone. It's that good, actually. But yeah, if you got small little scratches, or just normal use scratches, you can bore them out, and you'll get a perfect seal on the next piston. Or well, rings that you put